Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Skipped again? How K-pop tours actually pick US cities.
You ever wonder why certain cities in the US get all the concerts, but your hometown gets
Tell
ghosted? Well, some
Us.
fans are attending K-pop concerts frequently in their cities, while the rest of us are watching these same concerts from afar through live streams. Why do certain US cities get picked all the time for concerts, while others don't? Not all US cities are created equal. And we're going to break down which cities.
Well, my guess before going into video would be just based on maybe like K-pop fans populations. I think they have the data to see where the streams, where the views come from. They base on those cities. I would think that to me that would be common sense. I don't think it's random. Either that or just big cities, period. Because in big city, there's more likely that there is A, bigger arena, B, more people that like K-pop. I think it's that simple.
Are the powerhouse cities. So let's get into it.
So let's start with the S tier. We have at the very top Los Angeles and New York.
Yeah, and New
Or
York.
more
Yeah, that's
accurately,
obvious.
LA and the New Jersey stops just outside NYC. These two cities host pretty much every major K-pop tour. Then we got the A tier. These are cities such as Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, and Oakland,
that makes
or the
sense.
greater San Francisco/San Jose area. These are regular
Okay.
cities on most K-pop tour schedules. Then we're moving on to the B tier. It's pretty much the middle tier. So cities such as Orlando, Las Vegas, Houston, Seattle, or close by Tacoma, and Washington, D.C. These cities don't make every K-pop tour.
Interesting, like in Florida, it's Orlando, not Miami.
This is for like
K-pop.
K-pop.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's interesting.
There's a high Asian population in Orlando.
It is?
Yeah, I remember there was
okay.
this show that was watching about how this the creator who actually made the show grew up in Orlando, how the family came to
Okay.
Orlando.
Makes sense.
Remember we
But-
were watching it together, remember? The father had a restaurant.
Oh, fresh off the boat.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
They're common enough, especially for the larger groups or world tours. Then we're going down to the C tier, and you're not going to find too many concerts here. So you got cities such as Miami, Boston, Phoenix, Denver, and Minneapolis. They all fall into this group.
Well, one Miami there is in Sunrise,
That's like
17.
Miami.
I would count Sunrise as Miami. What from us it's 30-minute drive. That's Miami.
Miami.
That's my okay. Technically, it's not Miami, but it's close enough where you can call it Miami. Now, Boston is a little surprising to be a C tier because I do think there's a large Asian population in Massachusetts. A lot of college students there. So that's interesting why it's a C tier.
Where you'll occasionally see a K-pop show here, but it's not consistent. And then finally, we got the D tier, which barely gets K-pop concerts at all, and we have cities such as San Diego, Honolulu, Philadelphia, Salt Lake City, and Indianapolis. Sadly, these cities rarely make the K-pop tour list, and when they do, it's usually for smaller or niche acts trying out unique K-pop tour strategies.
So now that we went through the tier list, let's talk about the whys, which K-pop labels and tour organizers look to when deciding which cities their groups are going to perform at.
So what makes a city desirable for K-pop tours? It usually comes down to 6 key business factors.
I wonder what's his credibility. Like, does he work in this or he just asked ChatGPT and we just getting a summary?
First is population size. Bigger population means more fans, and more fans mean more tickets sold. Simple math. Number 2, international airport access. Touring is expensive, and
Okay.
international flights are even more so. Cities with major airports make it easier for artists and staff to fly in and out efficiently. But it's not just for the artists, fans benefit too. Cities with major international airports attract fans from other countries who want to fly in for the show. Having a direct flight option makes these cities more accessible and appealing for global fans planning concert trips. 3. Venue availability and capacity. Groups need venues that fit their scale. From theaters to arenas to stadiums, that city must have that right size and availability to that particular group. For instance, if say a tier S group such as BTS, Twice, or Blackpink came to that city would need a huge stadium that can fit 40 or 50 or 60,000 people because there's a lot of fans that love those groups. Conversely, if you have a smaller or mid-sized group, you're not going to need a stadium, but a more cozy, intimate venue that fits maybe 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 people. Again, it comes down if the city has the right venue for that group's popularity. 4. A strong local K-pop or Asian fan base, especially Korean and Korean American communities, can significantly boost a city's appeal for K-pop tours. But why is this? It's because the communities often serve as the core early
I mean, that's
adopters
pretty
and most consistent ticket
self-explanatory,
buyers. Promoters know that when there's a built-in cultural connection, there's a higher likelihood of fast ticket sales, local fan clubs, and word-of-mouth momentum. It also helps with language familiarity, cultural engagement, and fan organized supports like banners, cup sleeve events, and fan chants. These fan bases often organize faster and spend more money, making a show in these cities feel more like a guaranteed success. With that said, this is not everything, but when combined with other factors, a strong local Asian fan base is a big plus. 5. Promoter influence. Sometimes it's not just the K-pop labels deciding tour routes, but US concert promoters such as Live Nation, Golden Voice, and AEG, to just name a few. These concert promoters often negotiate which cities make the cut based on prior success, venue deals, ticket sales, and regional performance data. They also handle much of the
Interesting.
marketing for the US audience behalf. 6. Past history and pre-sale demand. K-pop labels and tour organizers rely heavily on data, especially past tour performances.
Yeah,
If a
makes
city has a
sense.
strong history of
So
selling out
this is
K-pop shows,
interesting 'cause
it's
remember you
much
have
more
to apply
likely.
this also logic to places
Yeah,
outside of the
when
US.
we saw we just saw last week, and honestly, why I clicked on this video, to be honest, there was a group that's skipping the Philippines, I think, or something. They're mad, something like that. Oh, aespa, I think. aespa, because they went to perform in the past and now they're skipping it. Well, there's why they performed in the past, they didn't profit. Simple as that. And that's what we said in the video too.
To get booked again. Add to the power of pre-sale demand. Platforms such as Ticketmaster and My Music Taste let fans express early interest. And when there's thousands of fans in a particular city sign up, even before tickets go live, it sends a clear signal.
Also, not just that there are fans in the city, there have to be fans that are willing to pay. Because having fans and fans that are willing to pay are two different things.
This city is a safe bet. The combination of proven history and high early demand can often tip the scale when planning a tour route.
We did talk about the major cities from S tier all the way to D tier and some of their reasons, but let's talk about some edge cases, ones that puzzled me that, wait a minute, why is the city ranked so low? Or why is the city ranked so high? And I'm sure you have some of these questions as well. For instance, Dreamcatcher actually performed in Reading, Pennsylvania, which was not on the tier list at all. ATEEZ, another huge group, performed in Tacoma, Washington, which is not too far from Seattle, but it's quite a ways. And the reason why some groups, even though
Tacoma, I would consider that Seattle. I think what happened was they probably couldn't find a venue the appropriate size and time in Seattle, so they had to expand into Tacoma. I think honestly could be the same thing with 17. Why they're in Sunrise, not in Miami. Probably looked in Miami, couldn't find nothing. So the club Sunrise is Miami adjacent. It's close enough. I think it's the same thing. I don't think they figured out, oh, Tacoma is the place to perform. I just think it's what was available.
the large ones perform in smaller cities is because of cheaper venue costs or easier transportation to get to said city, better parking.
Or cheaper venue costs also. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe, like there was an arena in Seattle, same size, but maybe double or triple the price. Tacoma, as I said, close enough, almost the same thing. Let's just book it there. It's not that deep.
And a very, very passionate fan base where they'll spend a lot of money. K-pop companies and tour
In American distances from Tacoma to Seattle, half an hour, that everybody would drive. There would be not one person who would say, you know what, I live in Seattle. I'm not going to Tacoma to see my favorite group. Like, ain't nobody doing that.
organizers find out passionate fans through a lot of data. So there are some cities in the US that do have those passionate fan bases where those fans will spend a lot and will show up to any K-pop concert in their cities. And I think these cities in the future will show up on my tier list and will be up and comers. So moving on to why some large US cities get skipped over. Now, this is one of the biggest questions I had and one of the inspirations for why I created this video. I'm talking about cities like San Diego, for instance, which is the second largest city in California. It barely gets any
I feel like if you're in San Diego, you're close enough to LA where if you really want to, you can drive by. I don't think it's that big of a deal that they need to go to LA and San Diego, unless of course you like Blackpink, BTS. But if you like a average K-pop group, I don't think you need to do 2 stops for these two. They're close enough.
K-pop acts at all. I think even though it hits the population metric and the Asian American metric, it's only 2 hours away from LA. And LA is the big giant when it comes to the US. Not only does LA have a bigger population than San Diego, but it's the entertainment capital of the US alongside New York. And another hidden factor that I didn't mention, but I'll mention it now, in Korea, there's certain US cities that have this fantasy to them or just reputation to them of being higher class or must-sees. Cities such as San Francisco, LA, New York are some of them on that list. I think Seattle is becoming up there too for the Space Needle. If you see the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. If you see the Hollywood sign,
I think that's not just Korea. I think for a lot of internationals, there are certain cities that have that image created by the movies that it's a must see.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's exclusive to Korea. That definitely New York, LA, Chicago, DC, San Francisco, maybe we can add that too. I think those are definitely the cities that's kind of like a must see.
sign Tinseltown or LA. So I think some of that does also seep in to why some K-pop labels will tour certain cities. Getting back on track, okay, another big city, Honolulu, which is the capital of Hawaii, and the location's great. It's actually in between the mainland US and much of Asia. So why not just perform there? Well, it doesn't reach the population metric. It's kind of too
Yeah.
small. The transportation from Honolulu to other places is pretty bad. If you want to go anywhere from Honolulu, you have to go to the mainland. You can't drive anywhere from Hawaii where you can in the mainland US, where you can take a tour bus. So the profit margins from performing in Hawaii usually don't add up. Philadelphia, another big city on the East Coast, often gets overlooked because of, yep, New York, which is a couple hours away, but the K-pop labels, they're
Makes
still going to
sense.
think, wait a minute, it's a little too close to New York. So the next time your city gets skipped, remember these reasons. Almost always comes down to K-pop companies and tour organizers saying, can we make money from stopping at this city? If you can, great, we're going to go to your city. If we can't, your city is
Yeah, I
getting
never thought
ghosted.
it was
Now let's talk
personal.
about
Yeah.
some of the large US cities.
Yeah, that's why it's interesting when we see fans like, oh, you hate like in Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, wherever. They're like, oh, they're like all upset. It's not personal. It's really about the money. If they can't make, it's at the end of the day, these are businesses. They're not your friends. They're selling that they're your friends, but they're not. They're businesses. If they're not making money off you, you're not their friend. It's that simple.
Did make the list, and I find these cities quite interesting as their rankings surprised me at first, with the first city being Las Vegas.
Now you might be thinking, how does Sin City only get a B tier ranking? Now it hosted some huge groups, including the Blackpink World Tour, where it only picked 4 cities to attend, with Los
Same thing. I think Vegas is too close to LA to have like a separate store unless you're a giant. Like if you're a small group, I think anybody from Vegas would drive to LA. It's like 3-4 hour drive.
Vegas being one of them.
With another concert, the G-Dragon 2025 World Tour that only stopped in 3 US cities, Las Vegas being one of them. Yet,
The reason why I put Las Vegas in the B tier is, while it does get some huge acts from time to time, such as, Blackpink, it's
Oh,
not
he
consistent
places them
enough.
in the B
Most
tier.
groups will not stop by Las Vegas, which is kind of weird because there's a lot of business and casinos and entertainment and tourism that runs through Las Vegas. But having traveled to Las Vegas several times a year for business, I can see it booming. And I can see Las Vegas being an A tier city very soon. But for now, it kind of swings and misses. It gets those big groups, but it rarely gets the other big groups nor mid-sized groups. So it's kind of like here. Same thing about Houston, which is a huge city in Texas. It swings and misses because when K-pop concerts go to Texas, sometimes it goes to Dallas, and sometimes it goes to Houston, and sometimes it goes to both cities because they're really big. I do see a lot more times when K-pop concerts go into Texas, they choose Dallas. Hopefully Houston gets a lot more concerts, and we can bump up Houston from a B tier to an A tier. So let's talk about some
Dallas is like, I think more affordable than Houston.
I have no knowledge of Texas, to be honest. I don't know.
specific cities that I found interesting. So Atlanta is an A tier city. I can actually
Not interesting. We've been to Atlanta, very huge Korean population. There was a lot of Koreans, a lot of Korean businesses. Yeah, not surprising to me at all. Plus, big international airport. I'm not surprised about Atlanta at all.
see this being an S tier city in the future if the city plays their cards right. And the reason why is Atlanta
has one of the fastest growing Korean populations in the US.
They have several Korean companies in the greater Atlanta region. There's a huge Asian population there. They have one of the biggest airports in the US as well as the world. A lot of Korean companies and tour organizers now have put Atlanta on the map. They just don't look at LA and New York anymore. They'll look at Atlanta as one of the major hubs in the US. And I would say the most important K-pop city in the South. Look out for Atlanta to hit upper A tier and maybe S tier in the near future. But the good news? K-pop's expanding, and the smaller cities are starting to get some acts. And if that keeps happening, maybe bigger acts will follow. And I do think with the right demand, and if certain cities play their cards right, maybe a big K-pop group will perform at that city. So I would like to know, if you live in the US, which city do you live in? And does your city get ghosted for K-pop concerts often? And if yes, do you go to the
All right. Interesting. I mean, I don't feel like he said anything like completely new. Everything, it was common sense,
Yeah.
but he broke it down well. The 6 points that he broke.
Yeah, that was important.
Yeah, that was interesting to see. Where is
Especially
it?
when it shows past ticket sales,
Mm-hmm.
past history.
Yeah, I think that's like the most important thing is, where is it?
Data, especially past sale demand.
Yeah, this. I think this is the key from this video. the end of the day, how big is it? Past history and pre-sales. The international airport access, that's important, but here in the States, most international, like any major city is gonna have international airports, so I don't think that's an issue. Venue availability, yeah, also, yeah, I think this is kind of just the gist of the video.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.